This is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Everybody, Russ of My Hammers 11. Hope you are all safe and well. For YouTube channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you may available to me putting new content on. As always, I'd like to thank our channel sponsors, Untuckits. There they are. Check them out in the description below. So we have another fans My Hammers 11. I'm looking forward to this one because Ian's been doing the old events and things like of ex-players for 10 years. He was telling me, so I'll be interested to see all of his stories and things like that. So how are we, Ian? How are you, my friend?
Yeah, all good, all good. Disappointed with England on Sunday, but there you go. I'm more disappointed with West Ham, to be honest. But yeah, it's, England don't let me down no more. But it was disappointing.
It was. I think being a West Ham fan's helped us, though. Do you know what I mean? I think that we're used to the failure. We're used to not doing it. So, you know, with your Liverpools and your Man Uniteds, they're like, oh, you know, we're in the final, we didn't win. We went in the finals in 2006, you know, and then we lost. So it's not.
Well, it's great to see Declan. It's great to see one of our lot actually in the team, you know, and he's so close. He must have been so disappointed, but
yeah,
it would have been great. Would have been great to have won it with a West Ham lad in the team, but not to be.
There's only one. That's the trouble, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Only one.
Needed the other two. Yeah.
Noble would have scored a penalty.
Yeah.
And Antonio, he would have had a go. He scored that one against Man United, didn't he? A couple of seasons ago. So
they needed Dixie and Mark Noble on the bench to come off and do a job. Yeah.
What is? I just don't get the whole penalty dinky run. It's something I just don't enjoy. You know, when we've had Julian on and people like that, and we ask him, he goes, "Yeah, I just twatted
Smashed it."
Yeah. Well, fair play to Maguire because Maguire did it. I mean, when he came out for the penalty, I thought, "Oh God, what's he doing?" But fair play, he proper twonked it, didn't he? Proper.
No, he did. Probably the best penalty, I thought.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, the other two, the minute they took the run-ups and stuttered, you just thought, no. And you felt for the lad, really, who was taking the fifth penalty. It just looked a bit too much for him, didn't it, really? He looked like shitting himself, and who wouldn't? But
of course. And it's one of those things where you've got, you know, you're waiting so, you know, my wife, she hasn't given a shit about football ever, but for some reason, like this Euros it's gripped her. And she was saying on the Sunday, she was like, "Oh, they're only young lads, Rust. Oh, I feel sorry for them. They're on 150 grand a week. You know what I mean? They'll kick a ball 12 yards. You know, I'll do that for off that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Well, I said in '96 I wasn't going to let England disappoint me no more, but yeah, they sucked me in this time. And when we beat the Ukraine, you thought, yeah, they're going to do it. We're going to see them win something. And yeah, just disappointing. Fair off, club over country. But
yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? It's always the way, particularly for us, I think, as well. And you know, obviously, European tour next year.
Yeah,
who knows what's going to bring next season? I'm so excited for it now. 5 weeks, got to wait now.
It's great. You just got to hope really that we're allowed to go, and I think that's the big thing. And obviously, hopefully, we go to the home games. But you know, our fans they would love nothing more than the European away games, and it'd just be great for everyone. It'd be a boost, and you just hope we're going to be allowed to go and see them.
Yeah, I think we will. I think we'll be all right.
Hopefully.
I think it'll be right. Well, by the time I think the draw in the draw for the Europa League is the 27th of August, I think. So you think by then, probably the first round's going to be sort of, I think it's like the end of September. So then you're thinking it's a couple of months down the line, isn't it? You'd hope we'd all be jabbed by then. Everyone be double jabbed by then. So
yeah.
We'll see. But it's great, you know, and it's great, and it's weird. I see a few parallels, to be honest, here with the England squad and West Ham last year as well. In that, you know, I think, you know, and I put a really cheesy thing up on Facebook saying, but football did come home because we reconnected with the England team. We had like a team that we were proud of. And it's a bit like West Ham, you know. We were saying just before we started, we'll talk about the events in a bit, but when we were talking just before, you were saying how, you know, obviously we haven't had the events or even live football, you know, going to the ground for 18 months in theory. And so it may have got a bit repetitive, a bit stale for some people. Now they're clucking to go back and see the boys of '86, or go back to London Stadium, and now they're going back with a team that they're proud of, really, because we did well last season.
I mean, I was lucky. I went to the last home game against Southampton.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was genuinely, it was a bit emotional to go there because we lost a few friends over COVID and people that ain't going to go back to the ground again. And that was a little bit emotional. But to be there, it was like everyone wanted to be there. And I think since we've moved, you've probably not had that.
Yeah.
That people sometimes are going and thinking, I don't really want to be here. But, I think now hopefully they've done us really proud last year, didn't they? And great team spirit. And hopefully they give him a few quid. He gets to sign a few players and we can have a little, what we want is a cup run, isn't it? I think that's what we want, is a run in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And a run in Europe would be lovely. But
that's what we are, aren't we? That's what we are. We're a cup team, aren't we? Really. So we're know we're never going to win the Premier League, and obviously last season was probably our best shot of getting into the Champions League, because all the other teams now are going to be spending 100k, 100 million, 150 million on players. But it's the cups, and wouldn't it be amazing next season just for Mark to lift up the cup? Whatever, I don't give a shit what won.
No,
even the Betway, I'll take the Betway Cup in, to be honest, at the moment. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, he deserves it, really, for the. Yeah. I mean, was he 16 years at the club? And I mean, obviously, doing our events, we've always spoke of Bill lifting the cup and Bobby Moore lifting the cup, and I've never seen us win a cup. My first game was 1989. I've not seen us lift the cup. So the playoffs were great and loved them. And some of my best days out were at Wembley and at Cardiff, winning the playoffs, cup final in 2006, although we lost. But yeah, we just, my era, my generation, I want to see us lift the cup. I want to be the one talking about it, and that we was there, that we'd done it while we was there. Yeah.
Well, I suppose particularly for you with your events, as you said, you've got the boys of, you said you did the boys of 80, almost the whole squad and the whole team, and and stuff like that, and it's the same as it's the same as England, wasn't it? The 66 and everything else. It's like a lot of people in their lifetime they've never seen England win anything. So and it's the same as us. 40 odd years. I mean, I was born in 81, so I had no chance.
No.
And it'd be nice to do. Maybe in 40 years' time, you're organising an event, Ian, and there'll be Mark Noble and Declan Rice and Manuel Lanzini and Fabianski.
My dad's first game was 1958, and
wow.
He got to see every England game in 1966, including the final. And obviously, you see West Ham win in 64. You see them win the European Cup in 65. He was at the World Cup in 66. He's been at every final that West Ham have ever played in. He wasn't there at 2006. He couldn't get a ticket. But the jealousy there is just enormous, because you think, my God, you've seen us win 3 FA Cups and a World Cup, and I've got the Intertoto to sing about in Metz, but that was great as well. That was a great day out. So, but I'd love to see us win a cup. It'd be, it's everything. It's everything.
Yeah. It would be good. And obviously, with everything that's gone on, obviously, we spoke before about, the events and E13 events and haven't, you said, since, I don't know, when was the last, when was the last event you ran?
It was probably November, the year before. So what were we? Yeah, November 2019. We had 11 of the 13 of the 1980 Cup team. And we planned to do an event in March of that year, of the following year, when COVID first happened, to celebrate 125 years of West Ham. And we had 7 players lined up, one from every 10-year span from the 60s to the present day. And we had to cancel. It's the only event we've ever cancelled. We said postponed. We're hoping to get that on still for October. But yeah, we've just arranged our first event back, which is 6th of August, Boys of 86. So we've got 6 of the Boys of 86. We always do them in Romford at the Russ Club. And can't wait, because it's great to see the guys. I mean, I'm very lucky of all the guys that I've met, legends at the club and got to know them, and I've socialised with a few of them as well, which has been great. And I'm very, very lucky. I love doing what I do with the events. It's just fantastic to get to meet your heroes. Is brilliant, and they're just great nights. I love them.
Yeah. They are good. As I said to you, we did with Johnny on West Ham Fan Zone, a couple of weeks ago, and you're right. There was like everyone was just so in good spirits. So in good spirits. The boys were good. Frank and TC and Aldi, they were in cracking spirit, as you can imagine. Free bar.
Frank's in definite good spirits, I would have thought.
Frank was in superb spirits. Superb spirits. Yeah, not just the spirits, but the bottles of bud as well. And Waldy, bless him, because he'd done the Isla match down at London Stadium as well. So he'd done triple bubble, not so, so bless him. But but it was the fans were really up for it. As you said, they haven't it's something about that generation of players, in my opinion. They're just so relatable and so approachable and so lovely that yes, you've heard the stories. You've heard and you've gone. You've heard the stories about Frank and getting hitchhiking on a milk cart with Julian. We've heard them all. But we go back and listen to them again because they're just so relatable. And and again, in the same me doing this channel, I've maybe doing it for like 13, 14 months, something like that, and I've been very, very privileged to. Now, have a lot of, my phone book. If like my 13-year-old self looked at my phone book now, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Who just texted you?
I think as well is that they have a connection with the fans, which unfortunately is a little bit lost on the modern player.
Yeah.
Is that they're probably not allowed to connect with the fans. So it's probably not really their fault entirely. But the money that they've got, obviously, probably doesn't help, but the connection that the older players had with the supporters, that and some of the stories that I've done events with Billy Bonds, and people come up to him and have named their children after him. And I remember doing one with Trevor, and a guy come up and he said to him, can you do a message for my uncle in New York? He's named his 2 kids after you. So he says, he's named these 2 children after you. He said, yeah, one's a boy and one's a girl, and it was Trevor and Brooke Ann. So he named these 2 kids, and Trevor, gentleman, he done a message, and Trevor and Brooke Ann, you couldn't write it really, could you? But,
no, how cool is that? But you're right, it's a fact of being relatable, and I think you're right. It's they can't connect in the same way, and it is We had Michael Hughesy the other day doing an interview with him, and we were talking about money and stuff, and you can't nowadays younger professionals, one dodgy tweet, one Instagram post that someone's taken of them, they've lost millions and millions of pounds, and that didn't happen back in the day. You didn't have social media and stuff like that, so. Fair enough. For me, as a youngster growing up, I used to live in Loughton, and obviously they all lived in Loughton. Like sort of Shaka and Trevor Morley and people like that, and seeing them I always tell a story. I used to work in Safeways in Loughton, and every Friday Shaka would do his big shop, and I would deliberately change my shift so I was there about 5:30, and we'd have a chat every week, and it was just like it was just amazing to have. Now you don't see it nowadays. You wouldn't see Manuel Lanzini. I mean, in 30 years' time, you're not going to do an evening with Felipe Anderson and Sebastian Haller at the Queens, are you?
No. I mean, there's some, aren't there? We've got some of the modern lads like Dean Ashton. He's a great guy. Dean. I think Ginge will probably do them hopefully, and I think he's a bit old school, and Nobes that they seem to have kept a little bit of connection with the supporters, which maybe not all of them can or want to really, but it is what it is now, isn't it? But
it is, and you get those, as you said, you get those gems, like a Paolo or even like we just saying before, even Sebastian Schemmel. I mean, the man's got a West Ham tattoo and he's got a restaurant named after him. You know, so you know he would be. He was honestly, he's just such a fanboy of West Ham. It's incredible, and you know, you get those few which you know you would bring through to the next generation, the next generation of evenings. But yeah, you're right, Gingies and Declan. You could see Declan in 30, 40 years' time doing those nights and having an absolute ball.
Yeah. Thomas Repka would be great. I'd love to do one with Thomas Repka and get Waldy to host it and do the Prison 11. That'd be brilliant, that one. So.
Do you know what? He's a scary man, Thomas Repka. He's still very scary. When we saw, I'm trying to get him on the show, and when I message him, he messages me back, and I get scared when it comes up because I don't know. You know, he just gets me, and it's just like doing. He goes, "Oh, no, I'm still learning my English or whatever," some rubbish like that. But he's still, I feel like he's gonna 2-foot tackle me or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'd love. Yeah, we're trying to get Repka in. We're trying to get Thomas on. Sebastian Schemmel was trying to get him on as well. It's so weird when you talk about it when you say it out loud. You know, and it's just weird. But yeah, you must feel the same as well. When you talk to you've got to talk to Trevor Brooking, or you got to talk to Ray Stewart or people like that. It's just it's such a bizarre thing, such a bizarre thing. But it's very privileged.
That's it. Sometimes you're at work and you get a phone call and you'll be working with someone. I've got a lot of West Ham fans I work with, and go, hold on a minute, I've just got to take the phone call to Trevor Brooking, and they're like, what, really? You know, and it's just, it's brilliant. It's great. I love it.
It's such a weird sensation. Right. So you said 1989 was your first game, but what led up to that, Ian? Why are you a West Ham fan, my friend?
I was born in East Ham, so I lived walking distance to Upton Park with my dad. My dad, as I said, he went since sort of 1958, and my next door neighbour, he was a season ticket holder. So between them two, we used to go. First game was Wolves at home. Liam Brady he scored. It was his last ever game, and in typical West Ham fashion, turned around to Dad and I says, I like that Liam Brady bloke, and he went, yeah, he's retiring today. So that was the beginning of the disappointment, I suppose. But just early 90s, semi-final, Villa Park, Billy Bonds' Claret and Blue Army. You know, Bill, I didn't remember seeing Bill play, but that day at Villa Park, the atmosphere just, you know, and you go into people's houses, they got a picture of the Queen or a picture of the Pope or something like that. Above our fireplace was Moorhurst, Peters, Bonds and Brooking. So that was, and the words to Bubbles, you know, that was, you know, all my family, West Ham. And we used to love walking to Upton Park. You know, you could walk over the from where we lived. You had like a greenway sewer bank thing. You walked over it, you could see the floodlights, and you know, you can't replace what we had at Upton Park, and we do miss that. But I suppose we've got to move on there, haven't we? You know, we're at our new ground, but yeah, great times at Upton Park. Really loved it, and being able to walk there from home was
exactly.
Brilliant. Yeah.
No stop and start signs for you.
No, there was no stop and start. No being held in the rain outside Westfields. No, I could.
Well, although I'm not being funny, if you had to walk, you know, being outside Upton Park Station when that decided to piss itself about, that was always fun and games, wasn't it? People forget about that trudge to Upton Park, and then you get to Upton Park Station and you find that the district line's down. You have to turn all the way down and go all the way to Barking. You know, that's the one thing. But you're right. It's not about, you know, and it's horrible to think about Upton Park and London Stadium, but you know, it's for the next generation, really, isn't it? I mean, you know, my daughter, she's 9. She only knows West Ham played at London Stadium. Although I made sure she was at Upton Park. She's been on the pitch. You know, I broke in. She's been on the pitch, but and hopefully this year she's, for some reason, is really into want to go in football this year, and she hasn't been. So yeah, I've been trying to do it, you know, little bits at a time, Ian. You know, take her to a ladies' game. And now she's like, oh, Daddy, and I said, oh, you can swear. You're allowed to swear when you go to football, and that's got it for her now. So she went, right, when can we go? Because I want to swear. Oh, okay. Mrs. Budden's very happy with me now.
That's it. God. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, she'll learn a few choice words there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure Mrs. Budden will too, by the sounds of it. But yeah. She was like, it's just so weird. She got proper into the Euros. So bizarre. Now she's like, oh, I want to go to a football game as well. I'm like, I've been working at West Ham for 20 years, right? And now you want to get involved. It's like, oh, you could have got involved such an earlier stage, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So when did you start doing the events? How long have you been in the events, Liam?
I've done a golf day many years ago for John Joe, John Joe Hyman. So met his mum. I think we were at Barnsley away, Good Friday on the Championship, and he was on the coach. I go on the Hornchurch coaches. So a friend of ours who sadly passed away last year, Dennis Lepane. Good friend of Dennis, lovely fella, and. Met John Joe, see what he was doing. He was a real young lad then, and got in touch with his mum. Said, I'm into golf. Like to help. Like to try and do a golf day. Managed to get some fun numbers. Got Tony Cotty and Tony Gow and Ray Houghton and Don Hutchinson, John Moncur to come along. And I was involved at the golf club, and we wanted to raise some money for the club as well. So we tried an event. We tried an event with the two Tonys. It was really successful, went great. We raised some money for the club, and I just enjoyed it. I just really enjoyed. I enjoyed meeting the guys who used to play. I enjoyed giving other fans an evening that they could remember. Getting their photos done and meeting these guys that they'd idolised. And I thought, well, I'd like to try and branch out and carry on. And one thing led to another, and Tony Gow and a friend of his, Les, been very helpful to me over the years. And Lenny Herbert, who you've done this with, I believe, from Mandeville.
Yeah, top boy, Lenny.
Get on great with Len, and we always sort of like invite each other to each other's events. He's got a lovely family, and managed to meet my hero, Billy Bonds, and do an event with him. And I remember the first time I met him at an event, he was sat out in the car outside our golf club. I went and knocked on his window, and I was shaking, and he undone his window, and I said, "Hello, Bill, I'm Ian. I'm organising the event." And he says, "Okay." I said, "Do you want to come in and relax?" And he went, "I'm just going to finish reading this book." He's reading a book about General Custer, and he said, "If you give me half hour, and I'll come in and I'll have a glass of wine if that's okay." And I said, "Yeah, okay." So I thought, walk back into the event. Half hour later, Bonzo's finished his book. He's come in, and we sat and chatted for half an hour, and it was like God had walked in the room, and he just made me feel so comfortable, and wanted to know about my experiences at West Ham, and my first game, and all this and all that. And you're thinking, this is Billy Bonds, this is someone that growing up, Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst, Martin Peters, Trevor Booking, Billy Bonds, and just a great guy. And then we done an event with him, done an event with Trevor, and then then more events followed, and we've been doing it, and we've donated to Bobby Moore Fund over the years. We've given them some money. We donate to DT38 as they're our preferred charity. We're doing their golf day on the 24th of August. So a lot of the former players are very good at supporting them, and they really need some help. COVID's really hit them quite hard.
Yeah.
And you've probably met Tracy. Tracy's an amazing woman. She does so much for that charity, and we can. It's doing what I enjoy. It's meeting my heroes, and it's giving a bit back to supporters. As I say, the look on people's faces when they meet Brooking, because sometimes you can take it for granted, Russ. I'm sure you appreciate it. You're lucky. You've met all these guys. You can take it for granted, but there are people out there who would pay thousands to shake Brookings' hand, to shake Bonds' hand, and have a pint with Frank McAvenny. And we're lucky we get to do it. And but then the joy you see on people's faces when they actually do it, and you've helped achieve that. That's what makes it really worthwhile.
Yeah, I get it, man. I get it totally. You're totally right. I think it's it. Yeah, I think it is something. It is a bit, yeah. I don't think I've got blase. I think I'm not blasé, but you're right. It's a different world. That it's sort of, and it's, as you said, when you take a call, it's like, oh, it's, I don't know, Tonka, and you talk on the phone with Tonka for an hour and a half about West Ham, and as you always do, because he never does a 1 minute phone call with you.
No.
But and it's just me saying it, and it's like, it's just, it is a bizarre thing. It is a bizarre thing, but you're right. It's and that's like why I love doing the interview. I love going and that's why I love going and trying to find players who maybe aren't doing the circuits. So like we had Michael Hughes on the other day, and he's nowhere on social media, don't do any social media or anything. So it's like I was quite happy with that one. We did a Nigel Winterburn. We've got another one coming up. We've got another X-Hammer coming up at the end of the week, and then the following one, so, and it's great because I like to, because people go, oh my God, what happened to him? And I haven't heard from him for ages. And you start getting messages in the same way that you do it from a personal, at the events. I get messages on Twitter and Facebook saying, oh, Russ, that was brilliant. He was my idol. I loved the interview. It was really good. And you sort of are a little bit taking it for granted, but yeah, it's a great, and I love doing it. And you're right, it is about giving it back to the charities and DT13. I mean, I do loads of stuff from the food banks, and it's the same thing. Anything we can do to help, it's all important. Speaking of that, while we're here, I might do a plug for it, because we've got a quiz night on tomorrow on Thursday. This will go out before Thursday. While we're doing it, if people are listening, we've got catchphrase on Thursday, so make sure you check that for the Irons Food Banks. There we go. Done the plug. Right, let's talk about year 11, Ian. So okay, now how do you want to play this first?
Right, so I'd like to do my 11, which is the guys that I've seen play from my time of supporting West Ham, and then I've got the 11 that I've done events with. That's so what I would say is, So I mean, I could whiz through the events one at the end, and do my one now if you want. That'd probably be.
Yeah, let's do your one first, and then we'll do the events one, and then we'll go through both of them at the end. That seems like a good plan.
Right, I thought long and hard over it, but it's not easy. It's not easy, and there's players that you leave out who you thought, can I leave him out? But it's my 11, so it's the ones that I think deserve to be there. So
exactly. All right, who's going to be between the sticks then, Ian?
Ludo, the big boy from near Moscow. just a gentleman. I love Ludo. He's been over to our events, and I remember at a young age when he stopped Man United winning the title, and he just always seemed so steady in goal, Ludo. And at the end of his career, like any goalkeeper, he had his mistakes in him, but what a keeper! Just loves West Ham. Loves where his passion for the club is huge, and Ludo. It's close. I thought Robert Green done great for West Ham in my time as well. Thought he was a good keeper. I think Fabianski runs them close as well. I think he's done really well. But yes, it's the big boy from near Moscow.
Yeah, I think if we had Fabianski about 3 or 4 years earlier, he would eventually in years gone back afterwards, be in the same realm as a Ludo, I think, because in terms of him as a just there's not many goal. Rob Green was the same. When a ball's crossed over, I don't look to the keeper. I don't look at Fabianski to catch it. I'm looking because I know he's going to catch it. I'm looking at who he's going to throw it to. And he's just that calmness that he has. He's not erratic. He's not an Adrian or. It's not, but Ludo, fantastic. And he just seemed to be in goal forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Goal.
Yeah, there wasn't many who, doing dues with Parksy over the years, and Parksy, people say, the best goalkeeper that West Ham ever had. And Phil will always say Ludo was a very close second to him, so I think Ludo's just pipped it for me. So
okay, but you didn't see Parksy play, really?
I didn't see Parksy play. No,
that's why I put that caveat in, because otherwise all our teams would be exactly the same.
Seen him play golf. I've not seen him play between the sticks.
See him all fucking play golf here. That's the one thing. That's the one. That's the one thing that I've. I always didn't realise how much golf footballers bloody played.
Yeah.
It's like Macca. Every time I try and phone fucking Macca, he's either on the course at Glen Eagles, he's off the course, or he's like in the bar. He's literally always all play golf.
More than likely in the bar, yeah.
More likely the bar, yeah. I love him. I love Macca. Right, okay, we'll put Phil in. Who's gonna? Let's go into defence. Who's gonna be your first defender then?
Right. So I've gone for left back Julian Dix. Just as I said, I started going in '89. Then Julian went to Liverpool, and then he come back again. And obviously, he had that injury, but there was nothing like the sight of seeing Dixie send someone over the holding, and he was just hard as nails. He was what you wanted to see. He was physical. He could play as well. That was the other side to him. Everyone thinks he was a bit of a thug, but he weren't. He was a proper player, and he probably should have played for England. Yeah. And when you talk about penalties, like watching England on Sunday, he'd rip the roof off the net with how hard he used to just get down and smash it. And yeah, he personified what you wanted to see in a West Ham player: 100% hard and could play. And Julian Dix would be left back. Yeah. My two centre halves, I've thought long and hard about this, but I'm going to go for Angelo Ogbonna, who I think has been excellent since we signed him in 2016. I thought the last season at the Bowling, he was fantastic. I thought last season, apart from that spell he had out for injury, he was excellent and could well have been, if he'd played all season, he was definitely in with a shout of Hammer of the Year. Yeah. I just think he's been steady. We've had some poor seasons since we've moved, but I think he's been steady. So yeah, Ogbonna gets in, and alongside him, I'm going to put James Collins. I was going to put Alvin Martin, but James Collins, I just thought he was a no-nonsense defender. If he had to put his nut on it, he would. If he had to kick it into Rose Ed, he'd kick it into Rose Ed. And again, another just someone who you thought he really, really wants to play for us and gave everything every time he put a shirt on. Yeah. And I loved Alvin Martin. I probably didn't see the best of Alvin from sort of 90s to when he sort of packed in I think 95, 96. He might have gone to Orient, did he? Yeah, but he was sort of at the end of his career, weren't really getting picked. So based on that, I know Ginge didn't play that many games considering how long he was there, but the games he did play, cult hero, gave everything whenever he played. So yeah, Ogbonna and Ginge.
Nice.
And I'm throwing a Nguyen in at right back. I'm putting Sue Fowin at right back. So now this is a rarity because I've only ever seen him play once, which was Southampton on the last season. So obviously we watched him on the telly, but actually physically seeing him play once. But again, to me, best right back I think we've had probably since Ray Stewart. So I think there's been a few, no disrespect to them, but I think Potsy could have put Stevie in, could have put Tim Breaker in, but you went with Schemmel. Please God, he doesn't do a Sebastian Schemmel and have one good season, and then he's not great the next season.
Well, as long as he don't cut his hair, he's all right.
Yeah,
that's what I said to Seb. I said, what happened? He said, oh yeah. He actually said it to me first. He went, oh, I said, you had the long hair, the Alice band. He went, yeah, I did. I did. He said, and then Trevor Sinclair and Di Canio cut it off, and I was then shit. And I was like, okay, fair enough. You said it, not me. But yeah.
Yeah, and looking at them four as well, I don't think you want to play against any of them four, really. Dixie and Sue Fowl likes to put it about a bit, and Ginge and Ogbonna are a couple of lumps. So, yeah, I think that's not a bad four.
No.
When you get it since 1989, people have Rio and, Stimac was a good player in his day, Gabardon, but that's it. I mean, I think Sue Fowl's been great. I think he's been brilliant, and Sue Chet has been great as well. But Sue Fowl's been sensational for this season.
I think I just love the way they've just integrated themselves so quickly into West Hamness. You know what I mean? It's like they've been in the club. You know, I mean, people forget that he turned up at Leicester away, weren't it? And you know, we were like, what? Pay 5 million? What the fuck can you get 5 million for? And he just turned up, not even in his proper position. He started wing back, didn't he? And he just turned up like he just had played in that position with that team, and ever since, you know, I think he's brilliant, absolutely phenomenal player, and
very steady.
I think very steady, very very Breaker-esque. You know, sort of. It's going to be 7 out of 6, 7 out of 10. He's not going to do a bad game. You didn't really get him didn't see him get rinsed too much. In fact, you saw him got rinsed more in the Euros, to be honest, than in the Premier League. And
done a job on Grealish at Villa Park as well. I mean, he was outstanding that night, and you know, everything. You look at a player like Grealish, and you think you do well to keep him quiet, and he never got a sniff. And I think he's been a great player for us. So hopefully, another couple of years he gives us as well, and carries it on a couple of years. Otherwise, I'm going to look very silly.
Right, okay, we'll put that back four. And even if they got through the back four, Ian, they've got Ludo. You know, it's not like they got a small goalkeeper. They got a giant of a goalkeeper as well. So, Christ. A wet night on a wet Tuesday in Stoke. It's like, God dear, poor buggers. Right, okay. Well, with VAR, I don't know how many games Dixie would play now. To be honest.
Oh,
you know that's no trouble. Let's be honest. Right, okay. Let's move into midfield then. Who's going to be in midfield then, man?
Midfield, okay. On the right side of midfield, I've gone for Trevor Sinclair. So I love Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah,
I think he was an entertaining footballer. I remember the overhead kick. What a goal! And he was just capable on his day. He linked up with Di Canio. We had a good side then. When I think we finished 5th, and then a couple of years, obviously he was in the team that got relegated, and you know, that's probably a bit of a stain on what would have been a really good career for West Ham. But just a player who I really enjoyed watching, could score goals. Sinclair, he'd be on the right side of midfield. Left side of midfield, we've gone for Matthew Etherington. I think one of the best wingers I've seen at West Ham, Matty Etherington. Used to run down to the line, bang a ball, low and hard ball across the box, a defender's nightmare. And the goals that Marlon Eyre would sort of tapped in off a Matty Etherington cross and Sheringham and players like that. I just thought he was a proper winger. And that might shock a few people, but I enjoyed Matty Etherington playing. Good player. Again, probably didn't see the best of him when Curbs turned up. I don't think he was a lover of Curbishley or he was a lover of him. But then that season when we got to the cup final in 2006, he was excellent. And proper winger, could set things up for the strikers. And me two in the middle, got to be Mark Noble, 16 years. He's played in some shit West Ham sides, hasn't he?
I mean, I know you look at Bonds. I know Bonzo played 799 games, but he, you know, lifted a trophy, or at least he lifted the trophy. You know, Noble's been relegated how many times, and but the thing I love about Mark is, and he's played under 8, 9 different managers. They've all picked him. They all
go back to him, and and the last captain at the bowling, I think he embraced that. And people, I think, we're quick to criticise players now. Like if Bonzo was playing now and he was 39 or 40, social media could well destroy him because people would be going, "Oh, he's 39, he's had it, his legs are gone." And I think Mark, he's turned into a little bit of sometimes an easy person to have a pop at, and I don't like that. He's given 16 years. All right, it works both ways.
Yeah.
He's done well from West Ham as well. But what a servant. 16 years, loves the club. I mean, I knew Mark as a kid. And even now, still speak to Mark sometimes, and he will do anything for you. If it's a video for a fan, if it's sign a shirt for someone, he does it because he gets the club, he gets the fans, and he is a fan. And you always need a fan on the pitch, and that's what we're about. We've had since the '60s, we've had East Ham boys like Ronnie Boyce and Frank Lampard playing for us, and Mark Noble. To me, he captures what West Ham is about. And if he don't play a lot of games next year, so be it. But when he does play, let's just embrace it, because when he's finished, we're going to realise what we had with him, and he was a class act. And I think Mark is just he is the modern day Mr. West Ham. I mean, everyone can say, oh, he's not this, he's that, and he's had his moments where, when he dragged the fan off the pitch, probably wasn't his finest hour. But Mark, Hammer of the Year 2 times, played in some real shit sides.
Yeah.
And, I think, as I say, that last year at the Bowling, I think people talk about how good Pyatt was that year. Mark Noble was fantastic that year. And again, if you want a penalty taker, Mark's your man, isn't he? Because he doesn't miss too many. And
only second in, isn't it? Only second in history, or to Lewandowski in terms of penalty conversion or something like that.
I think did he go past him at the end?
He might have gone past him now. Yeah, he might have gone past him now. But he beating Messi. He joined. I think he joined. His first game for West Ham was he's been at West Ham exactly the same amount of time as Messi was.
Yeah.
Exactly almost to the day. Although technically Messi's no longer in. He's a free agent at the moment, isn't he? So he hasn't got signed a contract. So Mark Noble is the top dog now. But I totally agree what you mean about having that. I was obviously unprivileged. During lockdown, I was at the games, still at the games, and obviously when Mark wasn't playing, he was sat in the disabled areas watching the games, and but he watched the game like a fan. He wasn't watching like a squad member, and I'm gutted I never recorded him watching him, because it was brilliant. I could have watched him.
He's not someone who I've just put in because he's Mr. West Ham or because you know him or anything like that. He can play, and he's there are times when we call him the Cockney Perlo, and we don't call him that for nothing, because he's had games where he's been sensational, and people are quick to forget that, and it's like things change, and then it's Jesse Lingard now, or it's whoever's flavour of the month, but longevity, 16 years, can play, and he's been great. To see him, for someone who he lived across the road to me, I lived in East Ham, he lived in Beckton, and when he talks about walking home from the matches. We were walking home. We could see him walking home, and to see him captain your club, and like you say, would top it off by seeing him lift a trophy. That would be justice.
I mean, up until now, I did a series on the channel, and Mark has played with over 200. I think it's 212 players he's played with at West Ham.
Has he? Yeah.
Mental. Yeah. Some not so good players.
Not
to be honest.
Yeah.
Medivo
alongside him, I've put Super Scotty Parker.
Nice.
So 3 times Hammer of the Year. Saved us, didn't he, a couple of times on his own. Couldn't save us the last time. I don't think anyone could have saved us with Avram Grant. But PFA Player of the Year. What a player. Just loved watching Scott. Another art on his sleeve sort of player. I've probably gone for a lot of players like that, really. Ones that you sit there as a fan and you think, he wants to play for my club. He's going to draw blood if he has to today, because he's a heart on his sleeve player, and again, can play, and great player, and as I say, nearly saved us again, didn't he? But wasn't to be. disappointing he went to the Yids, but you can't have it all, can you? I suppose
You can't have it. You're cool, and you know, and again, it's one of those things where I think that there's sometimes a conflict when we talk about younger, you know, the modern game and older players and and that type of thing. You know, there comes a point where with Scott Parker, you know, we'd gone down and he'd just broken his England team in the end.
Yeah.
You know, his dad was a big Spurs fan, and he passed, and he promises, you know, and all these stuff, and you think, fair enough, you know what I mean? But then in the flip the side, last summer we were literally walking Declan Rice down to Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
You know, saying, well, good luck. Yeah, good luck to you, mate. You know, it's funny how we choose and pick and choose when to vilify players and when not to vilify players. But, you know, you talk about wanting to, you know, fighting for the badge. I mean, Parker, you know, even the day he left for Spurs, the night before he was playing against Watford and scored, didn't he? Watford away. So
that's the disappointment, but I think that's the modern game. Is that
yes,
you know, years ago when we went down, people like Brooking and Bond stayed with the club, whereas now, it's hinged towards the player probably don't want to play in the league below, but probably the club doesn't want them there on their wages either. So it probably works both ways.
Good point.
But there was a couple of players. I loved Ian Bishop. I thought Berkovic was a great player. Pyatt, one of the best players I've ever seen in West Ham, but I couldn't put him in. I couldn't put him in because he done the dirty. But but what a player! But yeah, Noble, Parker, Sinclair, and Everington. That's the four in midfield.
Fantastic. Right, okay, let's go up front then, my man.
Paolo Di Canio.
Oh, Mr. Di Canio.
The best player I've seen in my time at West Ham. I always remember players from the 80s when we do the events. They say John Lyle said entertain the fans, and I think Paolo Di Canio entertained the fans. And when we first signed him, he's just shoved the fucking referee over at Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, Wrighty and Ruddock took the piss out of him, didn't they? And we signed him, but you thought, what are we going to get here? But in fairness, you know, he was fantastic. The tricks and flicks he could do. Talk about the goal against Wimbledon. The goal he scored at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. When we won there, I think we won there 4-2. And what a player! And could have gone to Man United. All right, again, we got relegated. He couldn't probably wait to jump ship and go to Charlton. But as I said, I think that's more a football thing than the player. But we'd like to think so, I suppose. But just loved watching Di Canio play. An entertainer, a maverick, and that's what you go to football to be entertained, and he entertained.
Totally, and you're totally right. He was a born entertainer, and there's very rarely. I mean, we talk about Pyatt, and you know, Pyatt was a phenomenal. You know, he's probably the most technically gifted player I've ever seen in a claret and blue shirt. Probably ever likely to now, to be perfectly honest. But Di Canio had the technical ability, maybe not as much as Pyatt, but he had that sort of just madness and passion, and it just gelled. It just worked as a package. So he was my favourite player I ever saw.
You
because
didn't know what was coming next.
No,
did you?
it was
that was what it was. I found watching him is that you thought maybe 60 minutes would pass him by, but then one piece of magic. And that's what he had. And the goal, I think, when Brooking brought him back when we got relegated, and he scored against Chelsea, you see what it meant to him that he'd come back, he'd scored the goal, and you know, and the place, the roof just lifted off of Upton Park that day, and that's what he done. That's what he brought to people. They wanted him on the pitch, didn't they? And he was just he was fantastic.
It was part of that whole era. You know, that whole Redknapp era was just unpredictable. You know, an unpredictable time. Random players turning up, jumping out of the Marriott Hotel window and fleeing the country. You know, Marco Boogers and Javier. It was just, and Darnay, and it was just. That was my most exciting time as a West Ham fan. I enjoyed it the most then because it was entertaining. It wasn't necessarily about winning, although we did win. We won in the total, as you said, and we did all right. But it was just entertainment, and that's what we want to go. We want to be entertained, don't we, as West Ham fans? We're never going to win the league. just a good old, beer on a Saturday and watch some good football. That's all we want.
Yeah.
Not hard. Right. Okay. Who's Pally going to partner up front there, mate?
Tony Cottee.
TC.
I think is he 5th on the all-time goals of West Ham.
Something
He might
like
be higher. But
he'll tell you.
He will tell me. But Frank's going to kill me that I've left him out. But in fairness, I only see Frank in his second spell at West Ham. I only see TC in his second spell at West Ham. But just a goal poacher. Just you want a striker, put the ball in the net, back of the net. Yeah. Tony Cottee put the ball in the back of the net. And it was, Cottee was just, he was inside that box. He had a good chance of putting the ball in the back of the net, making it ripple for you. And again, a local boy, a fan, and loved playing for the club. And Tony and Paolo up front. Frank's going to kill me.
Frank will be too busy playing golf, don't worry.
Yeah, he will. Yeah.
He'll be too busy. It's the Open soon as well, so he'll be watching the Open anyway when he's off.
Yeah,
he'll be watching this anyway. Bless him. Right, okay, so that's your team. We'll go for that again in a minute. But what about your 11? Your event 11.
My events 11. So this is people that have been to my events, and this is the best 11 from the people that have been to my events.
Yeah.
Phil Parkes in goal.
Yeah.
Ray Stewart right back.
Yeah.
Alvin Martin and Tony Gow centre halves.
Cool. Yes.
I can't leave Gailey out. Gailey. There's he'll get wind of it somehow and he'll destroy me on stage at the next event if I did.
Exactly.
Julian Dix left back. Alan Devonshire left side of midfield. Mark Wald right side of midfield. Billy Bonds and Trevor Brooking in the middle. And Cottee and McAvenny up front.
Oh wow, that ain't a bad team. That ain't a bad team, my friend.
They wouldn't lose too many games, that team. And,
no, they wouldn't.
I've got to mention the other lads because they're all fantastic. But if there was a bench, David Cross, what a great bloke! What a great player. Doesn't appreciate how good he was for West Ham. He always says, "I wasn't a West Ham player. I was the northern lad who come down." He was a great player for West Ham. He doesn't appreciate how much the fans loved him. David Cross, Jeff Black, Stuart Pearson, Pat Holland, Steve Lomas. I've got to mention Brian Deere because
he'll get wind of it. Stag will get wind of it otherwise. Yeah.
One of only 11 men to have lifted the European Cup Winners' Cup. So who else? Not many people can say that. So,
not at all.
But Paul Brush as well. Paul Brush has been to add those. Brush is a lovely bloke, and they're all great. They're all great. They all loved playing for West Ham.
Yeah, they do, and that's the one thing I seem to get when I do the interviews is it doesn't matter if they're if they've played hundreds of games for the club. Or they might have played once, like when we had Sebastian Carroll on, bless him. They love their time. They all love the time at West Ham. Some slightly more so. John Pansel particularly. I think he thought he had a slightly elevated position of himself in relationship to his relationship with the fans. But I don't care. He loved his time. So that's your team. That's not a bad team. That's not a bad team. And they're in their pomp. And then we got where's the other one? There we go. And that's your event team as well. That's not too bad. I think it's the first time we've done. Oh yeah, I think it'd be a good match. Be a good match. Although when I remember interviewing Waldy, was it Waldy or was it Macca? It's probably both of them. And I asked him about modern football. He goes, we'd smash this lot about 4 or 5-0. Okay, all right, Waldy, no worries. Bless him.
My money had just it'd be on me events 11 money. So
I think that's fair enough. There's a few FA Cup winners in there and so on and so forth. So a bit more than the others. But man, brilliant.
There you go. Great,
absolutely really brilliant, my friend. And for the events is E13 events on Facebook.
E13 events on Twitter, on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Yeah, give us a follow. Look out! 6th of August, with COVID restrictions, we were sold out. We were hoping to get a few more tickets.
Brilliant.
Got loads planned. DT38 Golf Day. Got dinner at Romford Golf Club, 22nd of October. Got another do in Romford. Got great following. Our fans, all it shows you what the West Ham fans are like. So loyal. Yeah. People rebook straight away to come to our events whenever they're launched, and it sometimes can be a struggle to get tickets out to new people. But yeah, we'd love new people to come and experience our events. We always say, come spend your evening in the company of legends, and that's what we like to provide. So yeah, we'd love people to give us a follow and a shout out, and come see it and enjoy yourselves.
Fantastic. And as you said, everyone's clucking to do it now. Everyone's clucking to go out and get a drink and go out, and that's like an excuse to go out, and it's like, it's great. So yeah, come along to your things and go to Len's things as well. Like, fucking go anywhere. I'll go anywhere. Literally, I will go anywhere. I've had enough of these four walls. But bless it. Sorry, Mrs. Budden, she's probably watching. But anyway, I love you really. So cheers, mate. Thank you very much, Ian. Thanks everyone for watching, for myself and for me, and take care everyone. Stay safe, wash those hands, get those jabs so we can all get double jabs, so we can go to E13 events and all great stuff. Come on you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care everyone. Much love.
Cheers, Ruff.
Cheers, Ruff. Bye. See you later everyone.